Senator Obama, in an interview with CNN this week, you said this. You said, quote, "I stood up for a humane and intelligent immigration policy in a way that, frankly, none of my other opponents did." What did you mean by that?
Well, what I meant was that when this issue came up, not driver's license, but comprehensive immigration reform generally, I worked with Ted Kennedy, I worked with Dick Durbin, I worked with John McCain, although he may not admit it now, to move this issue forward aggressively. And it's a hard political issue. Let's be honest. This is not an issue that polls well, but I think it is the right thing to do. And I think we have to show leadership on the issue. And it is important for us, I believe, to recognize that the problems that workers are experiencing generally are not primarily caused by immigration.
But
there are no doubt.
Senator Clinton's policy was not, in your words, humane?
That is what I said was that we have to stand up for these issues when it's tough, and that's what I've done. I did it when I was in the state legislature, sponsoring the Illinois version of the DREAM Act, so that children who are brought here through no fault of their own are able to go to college. Because we actually want well-educated kids in our country who are able to succeed and become part of this economy and part of the American dream.
Was she lacking on that front?
Wolf, you keep on trying to
I'm just trying to find out what you mean.
There are those who were opposed to this issue, and there have been those who have flipped on the issue and have run away from the issue. This wasn't directed particularly at Senator Clinton. But the fact of the matter is I have stood up consistently on this issue. On the driver's license issue, I don't actually want, I don't believe that we're going to have to deal with this if we have comprehensive immigration reform, because as I said before, people don't come here to drive, they come here to work. And if we have signed them up, if we have registered them, if they have paid a fine, if they are learning English, if they are going to the back of the line, if we fix our legal immigration system, then I believe we will not have this problem of undocumented workers in this country, because people will be able to actually go on a pathway to citizenship. That, I think, is the right approach for African Americans. I think it's the right approach for Latinos. I think it's the right approach for white workers here in the United States.
I want to let Senator Clinton respond, but were you missing in action when Senator Obama and Senator McCain and Senator Kennedy started formulating comprehensive immigration reform?
Well, actually, I co-sponsored comprehensive immigration reform in 2004 before Barack came to the Senate. So I have been on record on behalf of this for quite some time. And, you know, representing New York, the homeland with the Statue of Liberty, bringing all of our immigrants to our shores has been not only an extraordinary privilege, but given me the opportunity to speak out on these issues. When the House of Representatives passed the most mean-spirited provision that said if you were to give any help whatsoever to someone here illegally, you would commit a crime, I stood up and said that would have criminalized the Good Samaritan and Jesus Christ himself. I have been on record on this, against this kind of demagoguery, this mean-spiritedness. And, you know, it is something that I take very personally, because I have not only worked on behalf of immigrants, I have been working to make conditions better for many years. I was so honored to get the farm workers endorsement last week, because for so many years I have stood with farm workers who do some of the hardest work there is anywhere in our country. So we may be looking at the immigration reform issue as a political issue, and it certainly has been turned into one by those who I think are undermining the values of America. It is a serious question. We have to fix this broken system. But let's do it in a practical, realistic approach. Let's bring people together. And I think as president, I can. You know, I've been going to town halls all over America, and I see the people out there, thousands of them who come to hear me. And you know, they're nervous about immigration, and for the reasons that the economy isn't working for people. The average American family has lost $1,000 in income. They're looking for some explanation as to why this is happening. And they often ask exactly the kind of question that Kim asked, with a real edge or a real, you know, amount of anxiety in their voice. And then I ask them, well, what would you do? If you want to round up and deport people, how many tens of thousands of federal law enforcement officials would that take?
All right.
And how much authority would they have to be given to knock on every door of every business and every home? I don't think Americans would stand for that. So we have to get realistic and practical about this.
Very quickly, Senator, why not then, if you're that passionate about it, let them get driver's licenses?
Well, we disagree on this. I do not think that it is either appropriate to give a driver's license to someone who is here undocumented, putting them, frankly, at risk, because that is clear evidence that they are not here legally. And I believe it is a diversion from what should be the focus at creating a political coalition with the courage to stand up and change the immigration system.
Yeah, the only point I would make is Senator Clinton, gave a number of different answers over the course of 6 weeks on this issue, and that did appear political. Now, at this point, she's got a clear position. But it took a while. And I'm just being, just in fairness, initially in a debate you said you were for it. Then you said you were against it. And the only reason I bring that up is to underscore the fact that this is a difficult political issue. From my perspective, I agree with Bill Richardson that there is a public safety concern here and that we're better off because I don't want a bunch of hit-and-run drivers because they're worried about being deported, and so they don't report an accident. That is a judgment call. But I do think it is important to recognize that this can be tough, and the question is, who is going to tackle this problem and solve it? Many of the solutions that Senator Clinton just talked about are solutions that I agree with, that I've been working on for many years, and my suspicion is, whatever our differences, we're going to have big differences with the Republicans, but I think a practical, common-sense solution to the problem is what the American people are looking for.
Well, I just have to correct the record for 1 second, because obviously we do agree about the need to have comprehensive immigration reform. And if I recall, about a week after I said that I would try to support my governor, although I didn't agree with it personally, you were asked the same question and could not answer it. So this is a difficult issue. And both of us have to recognize that it is not something that we easily come to because we share a lot of the same values. We want to be fair to people. We want to respect the dignity of every human being, every person who is here. But we are trying to work our way through to get to where we need to be, and that is to have a united Democratic Party with fair-minded Republicans who will join us to fix this broken immigration system.
All right, we're going to talk a lot more about this.